The air is thick with the stench of sweat, fear, and impending slaughter. The wind carries the distant cries of starving civilians, trapped inside Julu, mixed with the clank of Qin armor and the roar of drill commands. Before you lies a city under siege, Julu, trapped by the most feared military machine the ancient world had ever seen, the Qin army. 40,000 men. No, 40,000 is a skirmish. We are talking 400,000 battle-hardened troops, split between two lethal commands. Zhang Han, the general, who crushed peasant uprisings and killed Xiang Yu's own uncle, Xiang Liang, leads 200,000 seasoned soldiers, fresh off victory after victory. Wang Li, grandson of the legendary Qin general, Wang Jian, commands another 200,000 elite northern frontier troops, men who spent decades fighting off the Zhang along the Great Wall, the Qin's unstoppable border guardians, hardened by years of brutal frontier warfare. Their mission: erase the Zhao state, crush all rebel resistance, and restore the tyrannical Qin Dynasty's iron grip on every corner of China. Inside Julu, the Zhao king and his people starve, eating bark and leather, to survive, their hope fading with each passing day. Outside, more than a dozen rebel alliance camps watch from the hills, too terrified to move. They are sitting on the walls and watching, paralyzed by the Qin's reputation for mass executions and total conquest. This is the moment when the anti-Qin movement is seconds from total collapse. All rebel leaders have failed, all strategies have crumbled, and all hope seems lost. And into this abyss steps a 25-year-old firebrand named Xiang Yu. This is the story of the Battle of Julu, the day one man's do-or-die gamble destroyed the Qin's military backbone and changed the course of Chinese civilization forever. Let's rewind to set the stage. Just months earlier, Qin forces had delivered a crippling blow to the Chu rebels at Dingtao, killing Xiang Liang and shattering rebel morale across the region. Zhang Han, convinced the Chu were finished and no longer a threat, turned north to annihilate the Zhao state in one swift, brutal campaign. The Qin war machine rolled over Zhao's capital with terrifying speed, forcing the king and his ministers to flee to Julu, where Wang Li's frontier army encircled them in a tight, inescapable death grip. The Zhao sent desperate pleas for help to every rebel state, their messengers riding through the night to beg for aid. The Chu king, Huai struck a fateful deal: send Liu Bang west to attack Qin's heartland and weaken the dynasty from within, and send an army north to relieve Julu and save the rebel alliance. He named Song Yi supreme commander, with Xiang Yu as his second-in-command, hoping to control the young warrior's fiery temper. What followed was not leadership, it was cowardice of the worst kind. Song Yi marched his 50,000 Chu troops to Anyang, just miles from Julu, and the screaming victims of the siege, and camped for 46 straight days. He feasted daily, delayed action, and ignored Xiang Yu's repeated urgent pleas to attack immediately. Song Yi hoped the Qin and Zhao would bleed each other dry, weakening both sides, then he could swoop in for the easy victory. Xiang Yu saw the terrifying truth: every day of delay meant more deaths in Julu, more innocent lives lost, and the slow suffocation of the entire rebellion that sought to free China from Qin tyranny. One morning, Xiang Yu stormed into Song Yi's tent, executed him for treason and dereliction of duty, and seized full command of the Chu army. The troops, terrified of Xiang Yu's ferocity and inspired by his courage, bowed to his authority without question. The Chu king had no choice but to confirm him as supreme general, powerless to stop the man who would soon become a legend. At last, the man who would become the hegemon king had the army he needed to face the Qin juggernaut. Xiang Yu's first move was calculated and brutal. He sent two trusted generals, Yingbu and Pu Jiang, with 20,000 men across the Zhang River, to attack the Qin supply line, a narrow walled food road that fed Wang Li's besieging army and kept his massive force operational. The vanguard struck fast, disrupted supplies, and held their ground against fierce Qin counterattacks. Emboldened by this small but critical victory, Xiang Yu marched his remaining 30,000 men across the river, and then he gave the order that would echo through 2 millennia: sink every boat, smash every cooking cauldron, burn every camp hut, and carry only 3 days of rations. No retreat, no resupply. No going home. The message was seared into every soldier's soul: win or die here. There is no third option. This was not just a morale stunt, it was a military masterstroke that combined psychological warfare with tactical genius. By eliminating all escape, Xiang Yu turned a ragtag rebel army into a force of fanatics who fought with the fury of men who had nothing left to lose. Psychologically, it destroyed all doubt and fear. Tactically, it forced a quick, decisive battle before starvation could finish what the Qin started. Every soldier knew they either defeated the Qin, right here, or died trying with no chance to flee or surrender. What happened next is one of the most lopsided, awe-inspiring victories in military history. Xiang Yu led his charge directly at the Qin lines, targeting the vulnerable gap between Zhang Han's supporting troops and Wang Li's besiegers. The Chu soldiers, with no way back, fought like demons, each man taking on 10 Qin troops, their war cries shaking the hills and striking terror into the hearts of the once invincible Qin soldiers. For 9 straight battles, the Chu smashed through Qin formations, breaking their lines and pushing them back relentlessly. They cut off Wang Li's food, completely trapped his entire army, and turned the siege on its head. The rebel generals, watching from the hills, could not believe their eyes. A tiny Chu force was tearing apart the invincible Qin war machine they had feared for so long. When they saw the Qin breaking and running, they finally joined the fight, pouring down from their camps to surround and finish the job. Qin general Su Jiao was killed in brutal close combat. Wang Li, the proud frontier commander from a legendary military family, was captured alive and humiliated. Another general, Shi Jian, refused to surrender and burned himself to death rather than face the shame of defeat. Zhang Han, his flanks shattered and his supply lines cut, watched his army collapse in ruins and retreated with his remaining 200,000 men to avoid total annihilation. The siege of Julu was broken. The elite northern frontier army of the Qin, once thought unbeatable, and the backbone of Qin power, was completely destroyed. But the battle's aftermath is just as critical to understanding Qin's collapse. Zhang Han was now a man, trapped between two horrors, the vengeful Xiang Yu in front of him, and the murderous eunuch Zhao Gao behind him in Xianyang. Zhao Gao, who controlled the child emperor Qin Shi with an iron fist, hated Zhang Han and refused to send reinforcements or supplies. He blamed Zhang Han for every defeat, and threatened to execute him and his entire family if he failed to crush the rebels. Zhang Han sent messengers to plead his case and beg for help. They were arrested and killed before they could even speak. With no hope of support, no path to victory, and certain death if he returned to Qin, Zhang Han had only one choice: surrender. 8 months after the main battle at Julu, he led his 200,000 remaining troops to Xiang Yu and laid down their arms, ending all meaningful Qin military resistance. The Qin dynasty no longer had a functional army. Its capital was defenseless. Its rule was finished. The Battle of Julu did not just win a single fight, it decapitated the Qin's military power, sealed the dynasty's fate, and opened the door for the collapse of the first unified Chinese empire, just 1 year later. We cannot overstate the historical weight of this moment. Before Julu, the Qin still held all the cards: massive armies, control of key cities, a brutal but effective war machine that had conquered all of China. Every rebel state feared total destruction and dared not challenge Qin openly. After Julu, the Qin was a hollow shell, its power gone and its people ready to rise up. Xiang Yu's gamble did more than win a battle. It redefined what courage could achieve against overwhelming odds. It created the legend of breaking cauldrons and sinking boats, a phrase still used today across the world to describe total commitment to a cause. It turned a young, angry rebel into a mythic figure, one whose name would be linked to heroism and fury for all time. And it cleared the path for the fall of the Qin and the rise of the Han Dynasty, which would shape Chinese culture, language, and identity for more than 400 years. This is not just ancient history, it is a timeless lesson about leadership, desperation, and how one unthinkable choice can rewrite the fate of nations. The Battle of Julu remains the ultimate proof that sometimes, when all seems lost, the only path to victory is to burn your ships and fight like there is no tomorrow. If you enjoyed this journey into ancient China, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more epic history. See you next time.